Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and I just picked up a new project. So it looks pretty good from right here. It's an old bus, an old city bus on a 40 F350 chassis. So it's got a 6.0 Power Stroke turbo diesel. It's in pretty rough shape though. Well, not super bad. A little dirty. The bottom step's broken. Here's the main thing, which I've got to fix. It was owned by an old dog grooming service. So there's just some old dog grooming decals and a bathtub in here with some other weird stuff like these cabinets. The engine here supposedly runs good, and I'll tell you why I say supposedly. I've got some batteries for this. The guy who bought this originally, it was a Utah city bus, and it was rear-ended, so it has a restored title, and they could no longer use it for human transportation since it has a restored title. So they sold it to this guy who had a dog grooming business. It didn't go so well for him, so he sold it to this guy. This guy parked it here, wanted to turn it into a tiny home, and couldn't get it started. He drove it in here and parked it, couldn't get it started, and ended up, he actually bought this trailer later, so then he was done with this. Can't get it started. A few people came to look at it. No mechanics would come out here to fix it. This is like an hour away from where I am, so I don't even come out here to fix stuff. And long story short, he had it listed for $1,600, and it has 65,000 miles. And so I said, hey, that sounds like a pretty good deal. I'm gonna go check it out. So I went to check it out. He said, look, I'm sick and tired of this thing. He's like, somebody's gonna come tomorrow and pay me $1,000 to take the transmission out. He's like, if you want it, I'll give it to you for $1,000. And I was like, okay. So I talked to my wife, and we went ahead and just bought it. We couldn't even get it running yesterday when I came out here with some jump boxes. He's the one that put them on. I think he probably just didn't put them on right. So regardless, I've got new batteries for it, and yeah, we'll see if we can get this out of here. And I'm gonna park it on the street, and then I'll come back later with my wife and drive this home. But I've got to get it running, and then I'm gonna get some insurance and stuff on it before I drive it home. So here's a look at it. It's like 13 feet long or something. So this is a new roadside rescue project vehicle. I think we're just gonna turn it into it's kind of like a travel bus with comfier seats, you know, everything legit and legal. It's got power. It's got 2 air conditioners. Here's one. There's one more in the back. And yeah, so basically that's it. It hasn't been driven in like a year. And we're gonna have some fun with this project. So it's gonna take some cleaning up, probably some insulating, and just making cozy, but this should be fun. So here we go. First goal is to get it started, make sure we can get it started. He did tell me somebody came to buy the fuel pump off of it one time, and they unplugged it and couldn't get the fuel pump out and never came back. So I know I've got to plug the fuel pump in, and the batteries, there's no easy access to them. They're underneath the vehicle here. So I've got to crawl under there with the batteries and get those installed. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. I've got the key, I've already got the title, and I've paid the guy $1,000. So hopefully this goes well. All right. Yeah, rather than like take a risk thinking those batteries could charge, come in and getting them, trying to charge them, I just went ahead and got 2 new batteries. Should be pretty much all it needs to start. Plug in the fuel lines, make sure it's getting fuel up here at the engine. If he unplugged the fuel lines, the guy said he just unplugged the electrical connector, but if you unplugged fuel lines, I'll plug them back in and bleed the system, get fuel up to here, flowing, and hopefully get this thing started. Hopefully it should go smoothly, so we'll see. I'm gonna crawl under there, and I'll catch back up with you after I wiggle my way down there. All right, so we're under here. There's enough room to sit up, and here's the batteries. So I'll start with one and move on to the next, and we'll get these connectors cleaned up and connected. So here we go. I'll probably just do like some check-ins on this one. I'm not going to probably time-lapse this just because of the difficulty of being able to see this probably. Well, let me see. This. Maybe if you can see that, we'll see how it turns out. Okay, we're missing a bolt on that negative clamp there, but I should be able to put one in there. I don't know if I have one with me, so we'll see if I can kind of bend it to get it home an hour away and then get it on there better later. Isn't on tight at all either. That's fine. Now we can move these out of the way at least. Get this battery out. There we go. Yeah, something happened to that negative there. It's like pretty messed up. Here's that bolt probably for that. Snapped off. Somebody put it on super tight, and you can tell because that's completely broken up. So whatever, one's out. We'll get the other one out before I put those clamps back on this other one. So yeah, this isn't going to be reusable. It's going to be completely twisted and mangled. Okay, the frame's a little bit sturdier than the UPS truck, but I'm not going to get any footage of this one. I can't find somewhere to hook it up, so I'll pull this out and then I'll put the new ones in and check back and show you how that goes together. All right, here we are. I'm going to clean up these terminals. I may end up getting new wires for these eventually. If I figure out, wow, that's a lot of wire. I may just replace the terminals. We'll see. Maybe not. Well, I'll just clean them up for now. I'm going to clean these terminals up. I mean, these, yeah, terminals and then posts. I've got my little T-tool, which is this one, to do that with. And I'll see if I can get some footage of that. Again, we're squished under here. Okay, nice and shiny there. And nice and clean there. I don't think you can see that. I'm gonna put a felt on it and some silicone real quick, just to keep that from corroding. Make sure I get the right size socket for this. All right, that's tight enough to where it's not wiggling, so I'm good with that for now. These little brackets that hold the batteries in are broken on both batteries, so I'm gonna probably get some new ones of those to hold these batteries down, or maybe just fix something to go over the top and kind of keep them in place. But I'm definitely not worried about them jumping out, just wiggling around. All right, I've got these all hooked up. Both these negative terminals had some issues. This one won't tighten because that bolt's too rusty. That one doesn't have a bolt. I put them on there fairly tight enough to hopefully be well connected, and positives went on and tightened down fine. So everything's cleaned up, good to go. And we'll head under the fuel tank now and plug everything back in. I think it's under there, so I think I see it back there. We'll probably go under from the back, but we'll get everything out from under here and cleaned up. And here's that step. If you can see it, it's gonna need, I'm probably just gonna weld a bracket around it, yeah, up to the frame or right here, this pinch weld, kind of support that. So it should be easy to fix. Just a bit of rust here, not really too much rust everywhere else, kind of just this surface rust, less than the UPS truck. So yeah, we'll do that fuel pump now. Holy smokes, I just looked at the sticker on these batteries. There's no way I was going to be able to revive these things. They're 6 years old. So yeah, over 6 years old by a month. So yeah, good thing I got new batteries. Yeah, those weren't gonna cut it. I brought 5 gallons of fuel as well. I just want to make sure it has clean fuel, so before we try and start it, I'm gonna fuel it up. And there's our little friend. I don't know what kind of dog that is. If you know what kind of dog that is, leave it in the comments down below. Oh, there's a cat. I didn't know cats got baths. Oh, here we go. I might be able to bend this bumper too, because it has a hitch on it, so I think it might be pretty useful. If not, maybe I'll just figure out a way to put a hitch on that. But there's a back door here. I'll probably leave the back door useful with like some storage if I put like a couch in the back or something. There's this weird side door though, and I'm not gonna try and repurpose this side door. I think I'm gonna try and seal it up. So we'll see. All right, the fuel pump, and there's no fuel pump on the tank. Ouch, I just laid on that weed. So it must have been the fuel pump up here. So I think it's on the back of these 6.0s. I was just checking the fuel all the way down from the pump, so we'll check it out here and see if I can figure out where that fuel goes to pump wise. Make sure everything's plugged in, and then we'll try and start this. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it fuel, like 4 gallons out of the 5 I brought. Just leave a gallon to spare just in case. That took forever, but got most of that fuel in there. Save a little bit just in case. And here's a better look at everything. Get this finished up and going back together. Just gonna look everything over carefully, like this air filters, or this air intake's loose. These hoses should be up here, one of them at least. Oh yeah, both of them. So yeah, just look everything over slowly, carefully, as much as I can see. Everything's in place as far as I can tell. Yeah, so start going together here. Probably just that's the only thing up here I can see. Oh, these little bolts are loose. So I'm gonna tighten these down here and here. And then there's this, which looks like not a spare, but I don't know where it goes exactly. So I'll make sure I don't lose it for when I figure that out. And I figured it out already. That little bolt goes right here. Looks like it might be the power steering fluid reservoir. I'm not too familiar with this vehicle yet, so I'm not positive. That may not be the right one. Yeah, it is. It was switched with this one. I'll go ahead and switch them because that'll drive me crazy. Oh yeah, too long. Luckily, I didn't force it and break that reservoir. I just stopped when it got tough. All right, everything looks tight up here. Check everything over. I want to find that fuel pump. I think it's on the back in there. So, oh, this as well. It has an 𝐒𝐫𝐿 code, which is what these engines are known for. Okay, nothing crazy there. Make sure there's actually a filter in there. If not, I can bring one. Yep, there's one in there. I'm gonna check all the fluids as well. I can see the coolant's full. I'm gonna check the oil. I brought power steering fluid, brake fluid, and oil with me. So we'll check those. Okay, let's move inside and look at everything. Let me pull the fuse box and just check, make sure everything's there. That's supposed to be. Yeah, those all look like they're there, just in case. And now inside. So this is the tough part about this. I may probably end up removing this and figuring out some other way to latch the door. And the other door is actually right there. So just one of them's in place here. Probably because that step broke. So I may drive it home with just one door here. But yeah, just probably figure out a different latch system so that this space isn't just so crowded right here. But we'll see about that. This is just like, it feels like a lot going on for nothing for what I'm going to be using this vehicle for. So, ouch! All these weeds out here are devil's horn. That devil's horn stuff So this is unfortunate that I have to lay on these. But here's this lift pump that guy disconnected. It's underneath the driver's seat, basically just down here on the frame rail. So luckily he wasn't able to get it out, so I don't have to replace this. I'm just gonna plug it back in, and this should be about good to go. He didn't undo any of the fuel lines. I think that's what he didn't have the tool to do. And so we'll clip these back on, like so. Okay. Oh, no, that didn't go on. There, that's on. Okay, and then we just got to connect this. So if you can see this, okay, so that's plugged back in. Everything should be good to go. So I'm gonna check the fluids, and then we'll see. We'll start cranking this thing here. Oh, there's one more line over here. I just noticed that's disconnected. Two more, so we'll connect these two as well. All right, those are on. We'll get this thing going. Just kind of look everything over under here as well. A little bit of oil leaking out from the back side of maybe that rear main seal, but nothing from up top there. So maybe transmission fluid, but it looks like it's probably oil. We'll hop out and check the fluids anyways. Yeah, plenty of oil. It's dirty, but it's full. So I'll probably do an oil change when I get it home. Coolant's full. I'll probably check the fluid and test the brakes before I drive out of here, but well, there's the fluid. It looks full right there. And transmission, just in case. Got any issues going on here? It's got fluid on there. I'm not sure if it has to be warm and running when I check it, but the fluid looks clean, so we'll see how it shifts as well. But at this price, I really just couldn't lose. I mean, I can tear everything apart and sell it for way more than I'm paying for this. So, all right, let's go ahead and try and start this then. There's power steering there. Okay, no more stalling. It's time to get in here and do this. And I bet that was undone because I think he said he had to start it with starter fluid last time he ran it. So we'll see. I may just pop this out here and spray it in. Well, I'm not sure if I want to get it on that mass airflow sensor or not, but we'll see. Maybe it'll just start new battery so I can crank it for a little bit without too much worry. Okay, fingers crossed. I'm a little nervous. Okay. All right, let's get some starter fluid. It's not doing anything now. See if we can persuade it a little bit here. Alright, so I might have found the problem here. I believe is the fuel filter, and it's not really holding any pressure. It's kind of squirting out right there. So Let me pull some stuff from right here and see if I can get a better look at that and see what's going on. But it's just everything's pretty tight right here, so we'll see. I mean, I can't access it from behind. There's a turbo, so we'll see what I can come up with. All right, I think I figured it out. If you can see that little connector right there, it was just laying off to the side. So I'm gonna squeeze my hand back there and get that connector snapped into place. I think that's the injector control pressure valve, ICP or something. Regardless, I probably need a new fuel filter and gasket because it was still leaking a little bit. But may have just been an excess buildup of pressure since this was unplugged. Because I got it to fire over a few times with starting fluid, but it wouldn't hold. And obviously there's fuel up here. So I think this is probably the culprit, and obviously something unplugged that probably shouldn't be. So hopefully that's it. I'll plug it back in and fingers crossed that it runs. So here we go. All right, that's plugged in. So fingers crossed that that was the issue. I'm hoping so. That would be a super nice $1,000 truck for that. Okay, this is the first try since I plugged that in. All right, so I'm actually back here in town, and as you can see, the bus isn't with me. So a lot of people have noticed in my channel, I don't really do electrical diagnosis stuff, and that bus has some sort of electrical problem that my computer's not picking up. If I give it fuel, which you're not supposed to, but like carb cleaner starting fluid, it'll kick over, and then it's not pulling fuel. And I cracked the top of the fuel filter, and it has a lot of pressure. So I played around with it all day and I couldn't figure it out. So I sent it to a shop over there in town, the same town about an hour away. I'm gonna have them diagnose it, and then I'm gonna fix it. And one day I'll get into, you know, getting a bi-directional scanner and figuring out how to do electrical diagnosis. I'm still pretty young as a mechanic, so I haven't really gotten into that yet, but all in due time. So here we are today. I guess that's a sneak peek because they'll probably have it diagnosed tomorrow, and then next week we'll have some videos coming out about driving that thing home and starting to get it fixed up. So thanks for watching. It may not be the most super interesting video ever. I was hoping to get it running myself. Unfortunately I couldn't, but soon enough we'll get it running. I heard it run with the fluid, which you're not supposed to give it, and it sounds like it was running good. Injectors, everything, glow plugs, they're all kicking like they should when the key comes on. So yeah, that's where we're at, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Well, here we are, and this is a little frustrating. I'll hop up in here and tell you. There's a welder I got because I'm gonna need to do some welding on this project. So basically, I call this shop over there because I was gonna have it towed here to town. It's like an hour away, but it's a medium-size hook because it's a big van. They can't just put it on a normal tow truck. So I call the shop. I tell them, man, I'm like, it's a city bus. It's a short city bus. You know, it's not the 42-foot long school buses, but you know, you see a city bus like the small kind. That's what it is. I'm like, 20 feet long, 12 feet high. I'm like, you guys have room for that? And they're like, yeah, send it over. So I'm paying this guy the tow truck. It's per hour. It's a medium duty hook. So he's got it up on the hook. He takes it over to the shop, and then they call me and they're like, hey, this is bigger than I realized. Like, that's why I called you like 3 times. So they couldn't. They're like, yeah, we just can't do anything with it. So I called another shop over there that specializes in like 350s. They didn't have room. I called another shop and they didn't have room. Meanwhile, it's still on the hook, and I'm paying this guy per hour. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, just bring it here. So he's gonna bring it down here to Provo. So this video is gonna turn into, this is still gonna be the end of it. I'll probably get some video of it coming in tonight. It's gonna be about an hour. It'll be dark, but so my goal was, I'm not gonna, you know, throw parts at it, and I'm just gonna pay somebody to diagnose this. And in the long run, that's usually a safe bet because you save money. You buy $100 sensor and you're wrong, then that's the same it would have cost somebody who knows what they're doing to do a diagnosis. So I was like, I'll just pay the diagnosis. I'm gonna have it taken to this shop, which is what I have my customers do. Anyway, so now I'm paying the tow truck. It's an expensive tow truck, so pray for me. RIP my wallet. And then I'm also going to, but I mean, still, it's like the price of what he was asking for the bus in the first place, which I was interested in. So not the end of the world. But now the problem is I have to bring it here. There's maybe one shop in town I can probably schedule some time to get it in there. But there's a positive and a negative. It'll be parked here so I can work on it. I can clean it out and stuff, sell that tub in the inside, maybe make 50 bucks out of that. I don't know. Give it away to somebody who needs it. But I can actually like at least start working on it, and I don't need it running because I'm just going to take my wife's car to the driveway and park it in front of the Jeep, which still isn't running. And I need to put another update on that out. But I don't want to start 5 projects at the same time. So I'm trying to finish my wife's one. I'm just waiting to save up a little bit of funds to buy the last few parts for that to completely finish it. Then move over to the Jeep, but I'll probably do the bus next, and then the Jeep. It's kind of on the back burner. It's going to be probably the most intense project. I'm rambling. So to leave it short, that's a pro. I can actually work on it here. The con is now I have to fix it myself, so I'm probably going to end up buying endoscope or something like that where I can, measure waves coming from sensors and stuff. I imagine it's a sensor issue. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to have to figure it out myself. If anybody has any experience with these F350s, it's a 2005 6.0 liter turbo diesel, and they feel free to leave a comment down below what this issue might be, or shoot me an email if you're willing to help out, and we'll be tackling this one ourselves. So hopefully we get it right on the first try, but hey, it's my own vehicle, so I'm fine with messing up once or twice. Obviously I'm not going to mess the vehicle up. People, words like that get crossed in people's minds. If I mess up, then it gets a new sensor that it didn't need, but at least it's got a new sensor. So hopefully we guess it right the first time and we get it running. But here I can keep the batteries charged, stuff like that, so not the end of the world. Should be here soon, so I'm going to get this driveway cleared out. Say welcome to Roadside Rescue. Say welcome back to Roadside Rescue.
Welcome back to Roadside Rescue.
All right, so here we are several hours later, and it's here in the driveway ready to rock and roll. So drive line's disconnected because they towed it on the drive tires, and this is it. This is the beauty project. Ugh. So it's nice having it here. I'm optimistic that it'll get running, and just gonna put some work into it. So that'll do it for this video. I think we're done for real for today. So nice guys at CNN Towing. So if you're out in Utah and you need somebody to tow your vehicle, CNN treated me super well. And at the very end, they figured out who I was when they pulled up to my house, and the guy said, "Do you make YouTube videos?" And I said, "Yeah." So they recognized me. So shout out to the guys at CNN Towing. Again, treated me super well. So check them out if you're out in Utah and you need some something towed. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.